What's going on, you guys? Slim back here with a new video today, and today, you guys, I wanted to showcase Dinomorphia because low-key, this deck may be one of the sleeper decks of the format. This guy goes by the name of Evan, and I'll link the deck profile down below. Has topped basically 2 weeks in a row with the deck, and not only that, he got first place at a remote regional with this deck. And this is a deck I think a lot of people forgot about. It's a trap deck, of course, and it's definitely something that I think you're not expecting to see this format, but this format is pretty open if you're not playing Ryzeal or Malice. So it's crazy to see that a deck like this that people forgot is finding success, and I just wanted to highlight it today. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Be sure to smash that like button if you do. Follow the links down below to my eBay store. All my sponsors, just definitely check it all out. I just really wanted to highlight this for a couple reasons. Number one, this is a deck I think a lot of people forgot about. Number two, believe it or not, one of my best friends actually plays this deck, so I actually know for the most part what the cards do. I've literally stared this bastard down so many times, the damn Rexterm. I swear, like, you're literally just like, what do I do? They literally skill drain me to death and I can't do anything. It's pretty crazy. I really like that this deck is seeing, still seeing play. Like, I think a lot of people forgot about trap decks outside of Labyrinth. I think when you think of trap decks in the current format, you think of Labyrinth. It's usually what it is, and I think people really forgot about this. I wanted to bring it to the forefront, and let's go into it. So what ended up happening was he ended up playing a very similar list. He made a couple changes to this list. This list that I have here is the first place list that he got at the remote regional. And the highlight card in this version was the Grand Horn of Heaven, which we will talk about. In the previous list, he just had made some other changes. He played more copies of Trap Trick, and he also played more copies of Gravedigger's Trap Hole, and he played 43 cards, so there was just a couple slight differences. But the highlight card with this deck was the Grand Horn of Heaven. So for people who don't know, this is a really old card, but this card has seen play in the past. It's a counter trap, of course, and it reads, during your opponent's main phase, when they would special summon a monster and negate the monster if you do destroy that card, then your opponent draws one card, then end the main phase. Okay, you guys are thinking, okay, is that good? Because they draw a card. What makes this card crazy is that it literally stops the special summon. So they go to Duo Drive, they go to Detonator, you literally stop it, and then it ends the main phase. Like, the main phase is over. Like, that's actually crazy. They have to go right to battle, and then they have to go to main phase 2. So literally you are surviving, and that is absolutely crazy. This is a card I think no one thought of except Evan, and literally found success with it. I think it's super cool that he's playing this. I think that, of all the trap cards that you can play, all the stuff in here is pretty generic, especially for Dinomorphia, but then to highlight a card like this is absolutely crazy. But we'll go into it. So for those of you that don't know, he's playing 2 copies of Diplos and the 3 copies of Theresia. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that properly. I didn't play the deck, but yeah, this is pretty standard in Dinomorphia, especially because you're playing just Dinomorphia. I know you can combine it with other engines. I've seen it in the past, but he's just sticking to a straight, like, stun trap deck Dinomorphia, so it's pretty crazy. You got the 1 card of Demise, 3 Duality, the 1 Prosperity, all for consistency. None of this conflicts with any of your deck because you're doing everything on your opponent's turn. So it's pretty crazy. And that is literally it for the monsters and spells. It just takes up the first row. Everything else is trap cards. Like, it's absolutely crazy. And we'll highlight the Dinomorphia cards. So, of course, he's got the 3 Domain. He's got the 3 Frenzy, to get out your main fusions. Of course, the name of the game is to stick this and just to get your life points as low as humanly possible. That's one thing I'll say that's really unique about this deck for people who know. Literally getting your life points down to like 25 or some ridiculous number is absolutely just is like insane. Like, it's absolutely insane, like, to see how low you can get your life points, and it actually benefits your deck. The only thing that's scary is this deck in time, because if your opponent is one of those opponents, it literally tries to take you to time. It does suck. But other than that, I mean, the game should be over fairly quickly if you get your, you get your setup. If your opponent can't play, your opponent can't play, and that's really like what the point of the deck is. And then, of course, he is playing some other utility cards. He's got the Dinomorphia Intact. He's got the Sonic. These are just really good, like, counter traps. Like, a lot of people forget these are literally counter traps. So the Dinomorphia Intact, when an opponent's effect is activated while you control the Dinomorphia, pay half your life points. That's pretty standard. Negate the activation if you do, destroy that card. Also, when you take battle damage, the damage taken becomes half your life points at the time. So during damage calculation, when your life points are 2,000 or lower, which usually happens in the deck, if you would take battle damage, you can banish this card from the graveyard. You take no battle damage. So this card is crazy. You've also got the Sonic as a utility card because it's a spell and trap negate. So you've got your negates like right here on top of everything else. You've also got Ferret Flames. This card is pretty nuts too. I think a lot of people forgot about this card. Now, this isn't Dinomorphia story card. This is just a trap card. But if the combined attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls is higher than your life points, which it normally is going to be because you're playing Dinomorphia, you make your opponent shuffle face-up monsters they control into the deck. They have to decide, except monsters with 0 attack, so that the combined attack of the monsters remaining becomes less than or equal to your life points. It's literally a board wipe. Like, that's actually crazy. Like, that is actually crazy. You stare this down, you literally just, your whole board is gone. Like, that's absolutely nuts. We highlighted this. Everyone's familiar with Gravedigger's Trap Hole, just a good way to stop hand traps. Literally, if they're using it in their hand or graveyard. So very, very versatile. And the fact that you can also inflict 2,000 is decent. Normally, you would just want to get your life points as low as possible. And even with the 2,000 damage you're dealing to your opponent, their life points are rarely ever going to be lower than yours, unless you're just killing them that turn. And then Iron Thunders become a mainstay in the deck. You guys already know, literally can negate Spell Trap Monster Effect, can also blow up cards in the same column. Very cool card. Low-key Mech Knight card. Shout out to Mech Knights, had to do it. And then, of course, the 6 Solemns. Very standard. Strike has become such an insane card this format, so it seems standard that pretty much any trap deck that can play it will play it. And then those of you that are familiar with the Zark package, you do have Solo Supreme King. The beauty of it is you pay half your life points. That's like the key thing. You pay half your life points, and then you summon Zark. The main thing is that you pay half your life points. Like, it's actually crazy. And then you can banish it. You can add Zark from your monster zone, special summon a Pendulum Dragon from your extra deck. So that's why in the extra deck you see the cards that we have. Trap Trick gets everything. It's very well put together. And of course, you've got the Karma Cannons, like one of the best trap cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! This deck is just insane. This deck literally is just a middle finger to the format. It literally is just, I low-key think, one of the, slept-on decks this format. It's something that if you're not ready to play against it, like, you're not going to know what to do. Because once they get into their extra deck, once they've got the Rextrum and everything going, like, there's very few things you can do. This is like the mainstay of the deck. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects they control that have attack greater than or equal to your life points. So that's pretty crazy. And then once per turn, you can pay half your life points. The attack of all monsters your opponent currently controls, it becomes equal to your life points. So literally, you just make all your opponent's monsters weaklings. This thing is 3,000 attack, and you literally just go from there. It being a skill drain is absolutely insane. And of course, you've got all your other utility monsters. You've got your Kentraginas, you've got your, the Stealth Bergia. You've also got, if it does come up, you do have Logia. Shout out to Dino Rabbit. If you do get 2 4s on the board, which can happen, like, these guys are 4s, it can happen. You can actually get a Logia on the board and then have a negate as well. So that's pretty crazy. Also being able to go, draw into your cards with Dugares. Of course, Typhon, that's standard. Chaos Angel, you can actually make it because you could literally use light or dark monster you control as a tuner, so that's very easy to make in this deck since that's really all you're making. You've got just darks. You got darks in here with all your main guys, and then it can still come up with some of the other synchro options. You've also got the Crystal Clear Wing as another synchro option if it were to come up, and then you've got, of course, the Zark package giving you the Odd Eyes. You've got the Acray Dragon, you've got the Zark itself, and you've also got the Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon. So all pretty standard for Dinomorphia. If this is the package that you are going with, most do choose to play the Zark package just because, again, paying half your life points for a free summon is absolutely nuts. So really, really crazy. I like it a lot. Side deck is pretty standard. He actually did not change the side deck between the 2 tournaments that he played, the one where he topped and then also won. Again, this is the winning list. He did not change the side deck. So the side deck basically, I guess, is perfect. He's got the 3 copies of Lancia. That's standard for Malice. 3 Shifter. This deck can play Shifter. Doesn't have a problem playing Shifter. Obviously just not into Malice, but against any kind of rogue decks where they just literally pass to Shifter. Pass to Shifter, set your 5, go. That's pretty much it. You got the Duster and you got the Lightning Storm. He decided to just play 1 Lightning Storm. That's fine because he is playing 3 evenly obviously being one of the best board breakers. And then you've got, of course, the Anti-Spell Fragrance and the 3 Soul Drain. Soul Drain is pretty crazy. Soul Drain literally just says no to Malice. Like, literally, it says monsters that are banished as well as monsters in the graveyard can activate their effects. Like, that's crazy. You literally just shut off Malice with this and you pay 1,000, so it's already working with your game plan. So very solid strategy with this. Overall, I think the deck is definitely a slept-on deck and something that players should consider. I think that it's relatively budget as well. If you look this up, this deck is not expensive, so it's definitely something you could try. Now, granted, it may be a little hard to get used to playing a deck like this where you're actually just getting your life points as low as humanly possible, because that can be scary. Again, time is not your friend in this deck, but if, the games go pretty efficiently, if your opponent doesn't try to scum you in time, this deck can be very, very strong. I would say that that, you know, being able to top and then being able to win a regional with this shows that time was not really an issue. He probably just cleared through the games fairly quickly. And again, if your opponent is competent and not a douche, to be honest, like, you'll literally just, there's nothing they can do half the time. If you don't have an imperm for this and you literally just can't do anything, you can't use any of your monster effects, your monsters are going to be weak, the Dinomorphia is just going to run over everything, you're going to lose all the trap cards, and that's how the game is going to go. So it's pretty crazy. Now granted, it does have breaking issues, it does have any issues that any trap deck does have. Of course, hitting all the back row, being able to ash the main trap cards that try to fusion summon is really important. So it does have its weaknesses, but I think it's definitely a deck that should be looked at in the new format. It's awesome to see new decks finding success. Like I've said, I don't think the format is that bad. I think that once you realize, you know, what you're dealing with Ryzel and Malice, even with the different variants, you can try other decks and you can definitely find success. So awesome to see this. Just wanted to highlight it. Again, I will have a link down below to the live deck profile so you guys can see that over on the channel that recorded it. So definitely shout out to them for that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Dinomorphia in this current format. Have you looked at other decks besides Malice and Ryzel? Have you looked at trap decks? Have you looked at anti-meta options to combat the format? And what do you think will actually find the most success if you're not playing the main meta decks this format? I think this is definitely a deck to keep an eye on, definitely a sleeper deck, and something that if you are a really good pilot, you will find success with it, as Evan did. So definitely check this deck out and let me know what you guys think. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, be sure to smash that like button, check all my links down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.